What's up, dreamer? It's your little big sister Candy, and today I want to talk about happiness is a habit. I think that when we think of happiness, first of all, how do you define happiness? Happiness is based off of perception. Happiness is based off of perspective. Happiness is based off of intention, and happiness is based off of your own personal definition of how you define that word based off your experiences, right? So, I think that we all go through life and it's like, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. But like, how do you define that word? Happiness is an emotion. So it comes and it goes, and in order it's learning how to sustain it. It takes 30 days for like your body to literally form a habit. So when you think about that, about happiness, like what brings you joy? What makes you light up? You know what I mean? Like what makes you just, I don't know, what makes you feel alive, and define that for yourself. And that is what your happiness should be based off of. That should be your core foundation of what your happiness should be based off of, you know? And of course, life happens. Again, we all know life happens. And sometimes, we take those hits and then it's like, my goodness, I can't get back up. I'll never find that again. I'll never find that happiness and da 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 da. Instead of looking at life as, why did this happen to me? Let's look at it in a way of, why not? Why couldn't it happen to me? You know what I mean? Because even though something happens, it doesn't define who you are. It just doesn't. And I think like last thing that I did, I was talking about chakras and how when we have all this energy that is just stored within us, it everything starts metaphysically, it starts cellularly. And when we're under stress, when we're under pressure, when we're under all these things, all these different emotions, right? And we don't know how to process them, it ends up messing with our bodies. Physically, we start feeling things. So I'll give an example because like it's just me here to do that. In 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And I'm not going to go down the whole storyline. If you want to hear about it, it's on my podcast. It's called A Phoenix. Oh gosh, I forgot what I named it. It's called it's called A Phoenix. And then also, on YouTube, you can check it out and you can hear the whole story. But you'll learn to remember or to understand that I literally do not remember half the things that like I write about or I say. So yeah. I'm just that interesting, I guess. I don't know. I'm not. But anyway, so with that being said, when I was diagnosed with that, man, I tell you, I had so many different feelings going within myself. You know what I mean? So many different emotions that I never even felt before, like ever. But I was very numb to it. You know what I mean? So like, that news, it could have broke me. It did break me in the beginning. I ended up doing a double mastectomy and I ended up staying flat because I didn't want any kind of reoccurrence. And in a world that we live in today, a woman with no breast, oh my God, you can't do that. You know what I mean? But literally, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I cannot chop off my boobs and walk around here without them. Because in my head, that's how I defined myself. Isn't that crazy? It's not crazy because we all think that because that's what society makes us think. But I had to go through the process of relearning how to love myself again. But the interesting thing is I don't let anything, again, my main thing is I don't like to play the victim mentality. I don't like to, say, why me? Why me? I know that there's a lesson, there's for everything. There's always a lesson in it, but I'm not the kind of person that just lets anything define me. So I don't let breast cancer define me. I was a whole train wreck before breast cancer. You know what I mean? I think the breast cancer actually saved my life. As crazy as that sounds, it actually saved my life because, again, it got me to be aware of what it was that I was harnessing on to, and I had to release it. And I had to learn how to speak life into myself. I know what it's like to have those thoughts, those dark thoughts. I know what it's like to feel like, oh, the days are over and da 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 da. I know what it's like. Okay? I know what it's like. And that's why I'm here to help people, to remind people of their strength. You got to speak life into yourself. Life, positivity. Yeah, the world's not always going to be positive, but it's how you perceive it. How you perceive it. Okay, not how everyone else perceives it around you, how you perceive it. That's what matters. That's what counts. And that's what we need to come back to, is ourselves, is home. You know what I mean? Like, we need to come back to ourselves. And like, I'm not doing anything that no one else is out there doing. It's just, I feel like we're so lost as people. You know what I mean? Because of what society has told us how to think, be, do, feel, act, all that stuff. It's time to come back to our individuality. What defines you? Don't let the world define you. You define it. It's your world. It's your existence. Are you just gonna just keep letting things kind of pile on and you believe the hype? No, we're not doing that anymore. Okay? It's time to come back to self. It's time to understand there's a bigger reason why we're out here in this world. And it's not just to, the capitalistic things that we're taught in that ladder, that construct. It's not about that. That whole paradigm, I'm about to go on a rant, but I'm gonna nip it. I'll save it for another day. But it's time for us to realize that ladder that they built, and when I say they, I mean the foundations of America, okay? That ladder that got built, it's a whole lie, but we only believe it because that's what we are told. That is why it's so hard for us to find our own happiness, because we were taught what happiness is supposed to look like, supposed to be like, supposed to feel like. Nobody can teach you about happiness except you, okay? You got to want to live for you. You got to want to be happy for you. Define what that happiness is, and you get everything that's in you. You take that and you find it every single day. Don't let those L's sit there and define you. It doesn't. It's just a lesson learned, Change that mindset. Change that mindset and watch how things just start to look different. The world we're in a very, very dark time, and I'm not here to scare anyone. I'm just being real. You know what I mean? We've been in a dark time. It's just now we're acknowledging it, But like, now that we're aware, what are you going to do about that? We can't change the outside world. The only thing that we can do is change ourselves and how we show up. So how are you going to show up for your happiness? Okay? Check you next time.